All right, good Friday morning to Pittston, Pennsylvania, Salt Lake City, Utah, and Springfield, Missouri. How y'all doing this morning? Good deal. Today is Friday, July 23rd, 2021. You believe we're over halfway through the year already, and we're complaining about how hot it is. So yeah, pretty soon we'll be complaining about how cold it is. That'd be the next thing, yeah. So good morning to everybody. Big shout out this morning up here of Steve Field. Steve's our safety director here at Prime. I'm Dave White. Steve's been here, what, about 25 years, haven't you? You got 5 on me, so I've been here 20. So great to have us all, and great to see you all out here in the crowd too as well. And if you haven't got breakfast this morning, make sure you get on over there and get something to eat, something to drink, and fill the tummy, and hopefully we'll provide you some good information today. We got a great lineup coming. So, but to begin this, I'd like to start with our terminals. Let's go out to Salt Lake City, Utah. We got Troy out there.
Good morning.
How you doing, Troy?
That is not typed in. That is real enthusiasm.
You got us beat.
We're an hour later than you are, so it's okay.
Maybe an hour earlier too. Who knows? So, but anyway, what's going on out there, Troy?
You know what? We're just flying along here. It's been beautiful, 100-degree days every day out here, and we've got a bunch of excited PSD students starting here. Everybody looking to start their career with Prime.
Good to hear. How many do you have in class this week?
This week we have 15 new drivers coming in. We got a couple A seats, and we got a couple rehires in class here too. So
great to hear. So if you guys have any questions out there, make sure you holler at us.
You bet we will.
All right, appreciate you. Let's go out to the eastern side of the U.S. Pittston, Pennsylvania. We got Ricky.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing good. How about you, Rick?
Good, good. We're froze up here as far as our screens are concerned, but we can hear you. Our weather is not 100 degrees. We finally got a couple days without rain, and we're back into the rain for this weekend. So,
man, hard to play golf in rain.
It certainly is.
How about your class size this week? How you guys doing?
I think we had a dozen or so, but yeah, we had a good class this week, and they're we're all working down at the pad.
Good deal. That's the place to be right there. Start learning, right? Hands on.
Nothing like hands on, and we do a great job of it.
We do. That's what it's about. So thanks, Rick. If you have any questions or concerns, make sure you holler at us. We'll get you on the mic.
We certainly will. Thank you.
All right, back here in Springfield, you guys still doing good? Anybody fall asleep yet? Too much breakfast? Okay, that's a good thing. So Steve, what do you got for us, man? I'll give you a couple minutes here.
Well, thank you, Dave. You know, I'm glad you asked both Salt Lake and Pittston how many they had up there in their class size. Been a lot of talk here recently internally at Prime about how important growth is. It's critical to us to maintain what we have and be able to provide service to our customers. Probably when we have Steve Wutke up later, he may talk about growth as well. So that makes us super happy to see our new folks in Pittston, Salt Lake City, and right here. So what I'd like to do, Dave has been doing this, but I'm going to steal it back today, is if you're brand new to Prime, would you go ahead and stand for a minute? We just want to say thank you for being here and welcome you. Thank you. You know, we are so truly happy to see so many new faces here. You know, the growth, as I said, is what's important to us. You're entering, I think, trucking at a fantastic time. It's incredible, the opportunity out there right now. It's incredible, the potential earnings for our drivers. Industry-wide, they're good. At Prime, they're tremendous right now. And we'll talk about that a little bit today because we do have some information on the company side. On the lease side, you guys have been doing great as our sales folks keep moving those rates up. That's an immediate pay raise. That next time you haul a load under that new rate, you're making more on it. Our company drivers, that's a little bit different. So we're going to talk about you today and what we're doing for our company drivers to share in this opportunity that we have right now, because there literally is more freight than there are drivers and trucks. And that's a good position for us to be in at Prime. So again, for you new folks, welcome. You're entering a challenging profession, a potentially dangerous profession, but we're going to protect you with the best possible training we can give you, the best possible equipment, and we're going to support you every way possible. So again, welcome to you guys.
And this morning I had a gentleman ask me, who are these guys back there in the back? Different colored shirts. Those are our vendors who are on site here with us here at Prime, and they come in here every Friday morning. They're here. Many of them are here during the week too. We got our Freightliner rep, our Peterbilt rep, our international rep. We got Carrier, Thermo King reps, utility trailer rep, you name it. I mean, they're here, and they're here to support us, and they do a great job. So shout out to them. Thank you for coming. If any of you have questions after the meeting, hit up one of them. You know, if you drive a Peterbilt and you got a concern or something, Van Gertner's back there. Van will help you out. Jeff Wara, somebody with, you know, with any of the reps back there. If you have questions or concerns, make sure you see them. They're here to help us out, and we're very happy they partner with us. They do a great job, just besides just being here and being on site and helping answer questions, but they also support us, our fundraising we do for truck driving championships and other events that go on here at Prime. They do a great job. So just a big thanks for them showing up and being here today. Should we move into some safety real quick?
Yeah.
And we'll get to our speaker. So this past week, we had 112 DOT inspections. 77 of them are clean, so a 69% clean rate. Great job on that. That number was up. Last week, we were 61. Now we're at 69. Let's keep pushing that number forward. We love those clean inspections. That's what we want. It makes us look better with the state enforcement and federal enforcement when they look at our numbers, and when you're going down the road and pre-pass and how everything works on that. That's what funnels that, is clean inspections. Couple concerns though, in this past week, Bill Sprague, he signed off on all the inspections for us and safety. Either one of us safety reps always does that, and we take turns. Bill said we had a number of just speeding violations, just 5 to 10 over, things like that. Remember, the speed limit's a speed limit. And I understand, you know, if it's 55, yeah, you probably think I probably can get away with 60, but not always. It depends on that officer. If he wants to stop you because you're going 5 over, he can or she can. What happens after that? Well, that's going to lead to an inspection. They're going to look at everything, your paperwork, your maintenance on your equipment, all that stuff. So watch those speeds. Just keep those down. Keep them at the speed limit. You know, if you're out on the interstate, most of our highway systems are 65 or 70, while our trucks are governed at 65, so you don't have any problems there. But most of the times it's these 2-lane highways that you get off, and it's 55 miles an hour or 60, and we're kind of going a few miles an hour over it. So just a caution on that. Also, lane restrictions, and that's being in the wrong lane. We're out on 3-lane interstates. Many states have that left lane prohibited by commercial trucks, anything over 26,001 pounds, which is us. So you cannot be out in that 3rd lane off to the left at any time. So stay in the right 2 lanes. You know, just because somebody's going slower in front of you and you can't get over to the right because there's traffic does not mean you can get over in the left lane. If they see you there, they're going to stop you. And that's automatically going to start with a violation on your inspection. So reminder on that too. Let's stay in the right 2 lanes. So. And finally, the last thing, seatbelts. Make sure you wear your seatbelt at all times. That should be a no-brainer. And when you have it on, you got it nice and taut across your chest. It's worn properly. You can't have your arm over the strap because they'll write you for not wearing a seatbelt, even though you are technically wearing it, but you're not wearing it the right way. So other than that, Steve, we had a very good week this week on inspections.
We did, Dave. And
hopefully we'll continue on next week. Yep.
Yeah, and a good week crash-wise. So we're going to kind of give our time up to some speakers today that we want to share information with us. And, you know, I'll say to our new folks again, you know, a lot of this stuff, it may not make as much sense as it does to our veterans that have been here for a while. So just kind of absorb it. It kind of gives you an idea of what these meetings are about. They're really for us to share information, get ideas from our operators. If you don't know it, we do put it out on Facebook Live, on YouTube Live. So if you're not in the terminal, you can watch the meeting live, send questions in. They come in through Andrea over here, and she gets them to the speakers. So we've really expanded on these meetings to try to be get as many folks as we can involved with them. Just one other topic real briefly I want to talk about just for a second. Everyone's tired of hearing about it, but I need to talk about it. It's COVID, what's going on with that. Here in Southwest Missouri, we truly are a hot spot within the United States. We've taken a lot of precautions here. We've done well, but we're not through this yet. And for that reason, unfortunately, I need to announce that we're going to hopefully postpone our picnic this year. We've had it on Labor Day now for probably the last 10 or 15 years. Before that, we had it over Memorial Day, but we just don't feel it's appropriate right now to have 1,000, 1,500 people at one close-in event like our picnic. We're going to shoot to have it later in the year. We'll keep folks advised on that. I don't know if we've made a decision on Pittston and Salt Lake City yet, because those are on different dates, but we'll decide that in the next week or so. So for those of you that were kind of looking forward to Labor Day for the picnic, we're just going to hold off on it. It's probably the right thing to do.
Also, the truck driving championships are postponed too as well. So, yep.
We're just going to hold off on those. So who do we have for speakers today? We've got two different groups here that I think are going to be really good. The first one we're going to have Success Leasing, and we get them a lot. They do a fantastic job. The lease itself has always been a cornerstone of Prime. We love our company drivers. If that's your thing, we're all in with you. But a lease gives you a lot of opportunities that you don't have as a company driver. So we've got Kylah and Madison from Success Leasing here. And then we want to talk about detention. Detention for our new folks is when you unfortunately get held up at a shipper or receiver. Your time is valuable. We want you to be paid for that time when that reason for the delay is the shipper or the receiver. And we're going to talk that through, what you need to do starting there until ultimately you get paid, hopefully, for the time that you were detained there. So those are our two big topics today. I'll go ahead and shut up. You ready, Kylah and Madison? Come on up. These ladies do a great job, so have your questions ready for them.
Good morning. My name is Kylah, and I've got Maddie here with us. We are going to talk about just some of the different benefits from leasing through Success and then leasing through an outside company. We've got a slide to come up here in just a second. There it is. I'll go ahead and let Maddie get started, and then we'll open up to any questions.
Okay, so all of our leases have a walkaway option. And then also we do have the opportunity to have short-term leases. So like if we have inventory here on the yard of a used truck, it would be whatever's left on that lease. We have a downtime policy. So that would be like with Road Assist and like a breakdown pay. Just get with your Road Assist advisor if you have any questions on that. Retention rewards, I think it's like a 401k program for like our lease operators. So kind of for the same thing on company side. You get $500 from Success each year and you get $1,000 from Prime. You become vested after 10 years, and then I believe you're able to withdraw it at 65.
Yes, that is correct.
And then no money down option. So in order to just do a standard lease, we require no money down. You have the option to earn forgiven lease payments. After you've been leasing with us for 2 years, you earn 1. 3 years, you earn another 1. Every year after 4, you would earn 2 per year. And that means that you could call in 1 week and be like, hey, can I apply my forgiven lease payment? And you would not have a truck note or an APU note that week. And then we also have a lease completion incentive. So after you complete your lease and you turn it into the shop, we get it fully worked through, and then you would get a bonus off of your loaded dispatch miles.
And on that lease completion incentive, that is an incentive to complete the term of the contract. We do get a lot of questions if you receive that end of lease bonus, if you turn your truck in early, and that answer is no. We want you to complete that whole term of the contract. I'll go into the other option or other benefits that we have. We work very closely with our manufacturers. Like Dave mentioned, we are in communication with Freightliner, Peterbilt, International on a daily basis, and we're making sure that they have the most optimized equipment for you guys that are running out on the road. So we have fuel-saving equipment, proven specifications. So these manufacturers are putting hours and hours into testing and modifications to make, like I said, the most optimal equipment for you guys. We have a warranty behind the warranty. So not only do we have a great manufacturer's warranty, we also have Success Leasing warranties in place that cover you if you get out on a used truck to cover that first 30 or 60 days. Your APU is covered under warranty for the entirety of your lease, so you don't have to worry about that. Really on your APU or even most truck items, you're really responsible for that normal wear and tear or any driver negligence, which we hope doesn't happen. So we've got really good warranties in place. We put the newest technology out. There's a reason why we run such a young age of truck in our fleet, and it's because we want to stay on top of that cutting edge technology. When we moved over to automatic transmissions, that was very new to the industry, and we were one of the front runners to put that technology in place. And then a lot of people followed suit after that. Because we do buy such a large volume of trucks, we have a big advantage with our manufacturers. So that would help you as far as if you were trying to go out and buy a truck on an individual basis, you're not going to be able to get some of those same benefits that we are able to get with our buying power. And that could be anywhere from additional assistance with downtime from the manufacturer, lower operating costs as far as the equipment goes. And then, of course, just having those on-site reps that you may not have the advantage of if you bought a truck at an outside dealer. You also have no high mileage penalties on a lease. For you, your lease payment stays the same throughout. I mean, it does tear down, but you're not having that depreciation of the value of your equipment when you're leasing once your truck gets to high mileage. We also have a specialized road assist department. So each driver and fleet manager is assigned a road assist team to help assist with any breakdown issues they have out on the road, in addition to the manufacturer reps that we have on site. And that also goes hand in hand with our loaner truck program. So if you are down for an extended period of time and we have truck availability, then we can get you set up with a loaner truck so that you can continue making revenue. Any questions?
Yes.
That was a lot of information, so.
We have a question from Stephen Welch. I should be coming to Prime next year. How long after training can I start leasing? And then also, can you order keyless entry when you lease?
So as far as leasing, we don't have a requirement where you have to be a company driver for so long. As soon as you are an AC, you can go straight into the lease program. And yes, you can order keyless entry. That is not a standard feature on our trucks. That's something that you would pay additional to have ordered in.
10 Count asks, if we lease purchase a truck, how long can we run that truck with Prime? 5 years, 10 years, etc.
So at 5 years, they go up for a yearly review. And the reason why we're doing that is we want to make sure that you're still operating at the best ratio, that your truck isn't causing a lot of downtime, which affects everybody in the freight network.
Patrick asks, can lease drivers terminate the lease at any time?
I'll let Maddie answer that one.
So yes, that's part of our walk-away option. You are able to turn the truck in at any time. You do not get penalized for turning it in. Just know that there will be cost associated with getting that truck back up to spec so we can release it back out in our fleet.
Joe said, can we add to the retention and rewards program above the $1,500 amount?
You are not able to add additional to that. You can pick where those that $1,500 is put into different investments so you can earn additional money, but you cannot contribute to that on a yearly basis.
John asked, how many miles do we need on a company truck before we can turn it in for a new one?
So our warranties go up to 600,000 and we will run them right up to that point if needed. Right now, as you all know, we are in a lot tougher truck situation than we have been in the past. So we are running those trucks right up to their warranty point to get the most use out of them so we can keep drivers out on the road. Typically, though, on the reefer side, company trucks would run for the 3-year mark, and then it doesn't matter the mileage point that they are at that 3-year time.
We have several questions about Kenworth. Are we looking into getting any Kenworth?
We have had Kenworths here on the yard. They are part of our truck deal. So we do a truck deal every 2 to 3 years, and we evaluate what different manufacturers we want to come in to be a part of the fleet. Kenworths are in that running. We don't know if we're going to be ordering them yet. We also were able to get a small group of Kenworths, and when I say small, I mean 10, that we will be putting out in the fleet. That was really only a great opportunity that we had, that we can get more trucks out again, so we can get more drivers out on the road. That is not a part of the truck deal, just extra capacity.
Just a teaser.
Yes, just a little tease.
Got it. Truck with me said, if my warranty on my truck expires in November, when should I come in to get an extended warranty?
I'm going to assume that they are an ACE lease because we do not offer extended warranties on our standard leases, and you can add that extended warranty at any point. You would talk to one of our pedigree team, and then they would get you set up with that extended warranty and an inspection.
This comes up every time you're up here. What happened to the Volvo trucks?
So we did test 25 Volvos 3 years ago, part of our last truck deal. They are still in the running for this truck deal. We haven't made any decisions yet, though. So not sure if we're going to be ordering them or if they will not be taken into consideration. So still on the books.
Okay. Take a couple more questions online because I'm sure people in the audience have some, but we have some questions about how much does an average pay run and what's the difference between a standard lease payment and a lease purchase payment?
That's a loaded question. So if you're running under Prime's authority, your revenue will be 72% of the line haul on the reefer side. And then your lease payment varies. So I think a reefer payment right now is $1,089, and then a lease purchase is right around $1,100. There are some different things included in each of those. So if you have specific questions, I would definitely recommend coming and speaking to somebody here in leasing. We are located the far south end of the Z building, and we could really talk specific on your individual situation.
Okay, one more. Roy said, can I pay off the truck I start with, or do I have to order a new truck?
So if you start out on a standard lease, you can only do a lease purchase at the very beginning of the truck or the very end of the contract. You can't switch it over midway through. We do have the option to purchase the truck midway through with outside financing. So there's a Schedule C in your contract where you can purchase that truck. If you have a credit union or a bank that you want to get financed through. If you wanted to do a lease purchase at the end of the truck, it has to meet certain requirements. So it has to be at the 3-year mark and less than 450,000 miles.
Sorry, one more. Travis has a really long comment, so I'm not gonna read it, but he has an EPU. Are we going to continue offering those, or Travis Kinley has a EPU?
So again, that was a test unit that we did, and we have not decided if that's something that we are going to order long-term. They weren't necessarily bad units. It just takes a lot of testing, and we have a very large fleet. So we want to make sure that that's going to be the best option for you guys. Any other questions from the audience?
How you doing? Captain Banana. I was wondering if we're going to be doing Mack trucks.
I will say Mack trucks have not submitted a proposal. They're not in our truck deal for this go round. Whenever we do our truck deals, typically those manufacturers come to us, and we've dealt with them in the past, so they really know kind of what weight and specs we're already looking for. And if it's something they can't meet, they don't typically submit anything. So not in this truck deal will we have Macks on there.
All right, thank you.
I just had a quick question. I probably don't need.
Yeah, he doesn't need the mic.
Do you have an update on the new order trucks from Peterbilt?
So like all of our trucks, they are still delayed. Peterbilts are about 2 to 3 week delay right now, along with Freightliner. Haley is inundated with phone calls right now on truck orders. So as soon as we get information, we are trying to get that out to you guys. Expect if you have an order truck right now, about a 2 to 3 week delay, unfortunately.
When leasing, do we have to stay with a certain model truck, or if we're leasing a Peterbilt, can it be any model Peterbilt?
So we order into our fleet the 579s currently. So if you order a truck from Success, it will be a truck that we order into the fleet simply for if you default, which we hope that doesn't happen, it goes back into our lease fleet. So we like to keep them all the same. Now, if you wanted to purchase a truck outside and bring it onto Prime's authority, we could get you that information for what specs I would need to meet. Anybody else? No?
I just have a comment on that reward and retention thing. I've been here for 24 years and I have $35,000 in it, and it's worth $127,000 now. I think I'm the highest one last time I heard.
Yeah, that's a great testament. It is an automatic process in the contract now. It's automatically in the back of your first contract, but make sure you actually read through it and you sign up for it, because you don't know where you're going to be in 10 years and you could really benefit from that. So make sure you take the time to fill that out, list your beneficiaries, and get signed up for that program. All right. Thank you guys so much.
Oh, sorry, one more.
Just
How far
kidding.
out should somebody order a truck?
We are about 5 to 6 months out on orders right now. So
The
Yeah.
sooner the better.
yep, sooner the better. You can online, you can go to successleasing.com. It's on the first page. It has a little calendar that you can pick the date and you can go out pretty far. If it's too far, Jennifer will let you know that and we'll adjust the date accordingly. But yeah, sooner the better for sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I read that. Thank you, Maddie. Thank you, Kylah. Now, I always enjoy having Success Leasing here. If you look at our website, it says that Drew Martin is the manager. I'm pretty sure Kylah is actually the true manager of that department. She does a tremendous job up here. She takes our newer folks like Maddie kind of under her wings there, and you can just tell those questions just come boom, 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 and they just do a fantastic job. So we always appreciate having leasing. For our new folks, before we bring the next group up, a lot of that stuff, wow, that was a lot of information. Just trust me on this one. Our Success Leasing is really, one of the foundations of our company. They're going to be the key to a certain degree to your success. The hard work you put in absolutely is number one, but what they can offer you, from whether you're going to be a company driver, a lease operator, maybe get a second truck, a third truck, kind of start your own fleet, all that goes through Success Leasing. So get to know those folks. We always try to have them up here to share information with you, because they really will give you an opportunity for your future. And as I mentioned earlier, you've come into trucking at a great time. So let's take advantage of all these opportunities that they have. And just one other thing real quick, Matt over here talked about the R&R program. If you're not familiar with that, lease operators aren't eligible for a 401k, the standard sort of retirement system we have. So our owner and founder, Robert Lowe, started this program for independent contractors, where $1,500 between Prime and Success Leasing is contributed to you at no cost every single year that you're leasing a truck. And then you're vested after 10 years and it pays out at 65. So Matt over here has been with us 24 years. He said 135,000, 126,000, of which, I'm not being critical of Matt, of which Matt contributed nothing to that. All of that has been from gains in the market, investments, and the contribution from Prime and Success Leasing. So
And
just
Matt,
a great
Matt,
program.
When you hit 65, don't forget your safety department. You know what I mean? I'm just saying that. We love you.
Okay, we promised you another good presentation, so I'm going to ask three folks to come on up. Keith McCoy back here. Keith is in charge of our marketing department. Just a super driver advocate, is always talking with the drivers. Got Shaun Ryker here. Shaun oversees our payroll department. He's worked for me for a while. He's also redid our permit department, a big asset to our company. And then we've got Stan here. Stan's been here 25 years. He may not see 26 after this morning.
That's what Robert would say.
I know, being late on us. But then no, Stan's been with us 25 years. He's one of the operational managers up in the reefer division. He's been doing that portion for 20 years after dispatching trucks. So their purpose today is to talk about this detention and how you can make sure you get every penny that you deserve for being out there, and how this process works, because it can be a little cumbersome. So I'll turn it over to these three gentlemen.
Hey, thanks, Steve. Hey, before Stan starts, I want to mention something. So Matt, I used to actually have a big hand in the R&R program several years ago, but I still keep track of balances and such. Very nice job by you, good longevity, but we're starting to see more and more of those huge balances. So just want to put a plug in. Nice job.
So, all right, good morning, all. It always does my heart good to see all the yellow vests out here. Let us know that we have this group of new PSDs to Prime. You've chosen what we feel like is the top training program in the country, and we appreciate you for coming to Prime. We're going to talk, the subject this morning is detention, and I'm going to start this because it starts with you and I, the drivers and the fleet managers and the operations group, because to collect detention, there's three major steps. And the first one is we have to arrive on time at the shippers and receivers. If you're showing late to a shipper receiver, it'll never spool up any detention. So we have to arrive on time. And then second one is you have to get the time in and the time out on the bills. This is a loop, another hoop that the shippers and receivers have added to us through the years. Started out about 3 years ago, small percentage, and now it's a very high percentage of our customers that require time in and time out on the bills. We have what we call a detention stamp. I call it the time in, time out stamp, because it's exactly what it is. You don't have one, you can purchase one in our company stores at any of our terminals, and make sure you do. And just stamp all your bills when you arrive, and then stamp them where you leave, whether you have detention or not. And that way it creates a habit, and you do it every time. And we have that stamp on there so we can collect that detention. And then the last step is just to make sure that you do your depart shipper, your depart receiver in a timely manner. So don't wait till you get down the road or anything else. When you get those bills and you get in your truck, hit that Qualcomm, get all that information in there so we can collect this timely. We don't want you to be delayed, but when you are, we want to be sure that we can collect it. So that's the first step. And I'll let these guys finish up with the next two steps in the detention process. And I'll come back and talk to you a little later about a couple operational issues.
Okay, so after you've done your part and the fleet manager's checked it over, I would caution you here on the arrive. One of the areas that we see issues is what we call a late arrival call. You get to shipper on time. You're there. Qualcomm says you're there, but you get busy and you forget to put your arrival time in. Okay, until that is corrected, the detention doesn't start spooling up. So always double check with your fleet manager to make sure that your arrival time is entered correctly, because the computer is what drives the detention times being calculated. So that's one thing I caution there. The stamp time in, time out stamps, that's the second biggest area that we have complaints from customers and collecting on. The third thing I talked about that Stan hasn't talked about is the timeliness of your paperwork. Customers have increasingly put shorter and shorter and shorter timeframes on us to be able to submit for payments, to get authorization for payment. So I would encourage you that within 24 hours of the time you empty, you turn in all your paperwork. That gives the detention auditors, which is the group that I'm going to talk about next, the opportunity to go back and work with the customers to get the approvals that are needed to invoice it and to get you paid. Now, there's two types of detention. We call an audit and approved detention, which the customer isn't requiring anything from us at this point in time in forms of pre-approval. So the fleet manager is looking at the times in, time out. He does approval on it. It goes through the billing process, gets invoiced, and you get paid on those when Prime gets paid. I'm going to separate the company drivers from the lease guys here. Company drivers, you do your part. You put your arrival times in, you get your paperwork done, you get it turned in on time. Payroll is going to pay you. You're not tied into the customer on a percentage basis like the lease operators, the owner operators are. So you've done your part. You got it turned in 24 hours. We got it. We're upstairs working on it. And our folks are going to go through the process of doing the application on that and submitting it. As soon as it is approved by the customers and we invoice it, then those get paid. Those are triggered to go to settlements to be paid when the customer gets approved. So two different types of detention paid to the operators. The audit and approve, which you get paid when we get paid, which could be 30, 60, 90, 120 days. And then we've got the submit for authorization approvals, which are the ones that we have to go interface with the customers and the websites. And as soon as we get those approvals and invoice those, then it goes straight to settlements. Okay, so now it goes to Shaun.
So this is the most important part, right? Because this is the business end where you actually get paid for it. So I want to recap, make sure we're all on the same page, right? You got to get your time in, time out stamp on there. We do our part of it. Then it comes to the payroll side of it. So he had mentioned the difference between the company side and the independent contractor side. So one thing he didn't mention though is the company side. How many company drivers do we have in here? Lead seat, good. So company side, you get paid based on our rules. Independent contractors get paid on detention, or the customer rules on detention. So as a lead seat company driver, you'll actually, after 3 hours, greater than 3 hours, you get $17.50 an hour, caps at $150 a day for you guys. So kind of gives you an idea. That's about 8.5 hours roughly, math in my head here. So get an idea of kind of what the detention is on the company side. Now, independent contractor side truly depends on the customer. I don't know what those numbers are offhand. I don't have averages, but they're a pretty fair amount overall. So now you've been detained. We don't like it, but now we need to make sure you get paid for it. So you've done your part. We've done our parts. Now, how can you make sure it tracks through? So, kind of
Sorry to interrupt you, but we might have some company teams here. Does that second seat get paid for detention?
No, it's within guarantee. Which guarantee just went up, $900.
Right, which I get that question a lot. That's why I wanted to get that out there.
No, I appreciate you bringing that up, Stan. So you've done your whole part. Now you need to make sure you get paid for it. Now the process between Keith's group, they try to get them processed as quick as they can. But as he said, you have to interface with some other customers also. So it's not as quick as you and I would always like it to be. So we do this process. I would recommend you guys keep track of it. Write it down. Say on this load, I was detained. This is what I believe I was detained for. Now I'd love to tell you, you're going to see it on your paycheck that week. It's probably not going to happen, honestly, especially on the independent contractor side. So again, we all want you to be paid immediately for it. There are just other hoops we have to jump through to make that happen. So keep track of it. Look at it and think, this has been 3-4 weeks or so. If you've got a question about it, you need to ask. And you can ask your fleet manager. You can ask your payroll advisor. We can all help you kind of see where it's at in the process throughout there to make sure you do get paid for it on there. And one thing I forgot to mention to you guys, when you get dispatched, it tells you what the detention policy is on the actual load information. I know most of you guys use your app for your load information now, and it's actually easier to see in your app anyway. So I'd recommend you guys looking there for just initially to know what to expect, what the detention rates are for that customer, so you know what to write down. And I would tell you guys, whenever you're logging your trip to say, not logging in your trip, but logging your trip to say, this one I believe I owe detention on, at that point, you need to say, what is the rate I believe and the hours you believe you're detained. So you've got all that information easily there for you guys. So if you call in and talk to your payroll advisor, you can say, hey, this is what I think. Well, this is what I'm showing. And we can talk about any problems that, that might exist between the two of those.
If I could, when your fleet manager can access what we call preliminary freight bill. So if you're at a shipper and you've done your loaded call and you think you were detained, ask him what the preliminary freight bill shows. And it'll show a dollar amount that we're anticipating or estimating that we've incurred at that point in time. Same thing at the receiving end, you'll have an estimate on that. So you can use those estimates out there in your record keeping so that you have some kind of an idea of what the expectations are.
We do luckily see them pay quicker now than we did before, which still isn't a great step, but it is better than it was. And I will mention to you guys, the thing I hear from drivers the most is, man, you're making me keep track of these things. Shaun, you're telling me to do this on my own. You're also telling me to do everything else. You want me to pick up and deliver on time safely. I hear exactly what you're saying. And we're trying to see if we can find any way to be able to help you guys track that and make it visible for you guys. If you have 3 outstanding, you hopefully will be able to see at some point, where they are. I don't have the answer for that. I'm definitely not a computer programmer, but it's something we're looking at to see if we can help you guys track that and see when it is going to pay for you guys. Because right now you just see it when it appears in your settlement or your payroll. So, I hear you. I understand that. We're trying to see what we can do for that.
I'll add on to that there. Time is of the essence on this stuff. We helped a gentleman out here 2 weeks ago get about $1,100 in detention that we went back 6 months to try and recover for him. We were able to do it on a couple of them. We couldn't do it on a couple of them because the time frame was so long on it. I'm going to tell you that at the 30-day mark, if you haven't seen it on your statement, that you need to ask a question and say, hey, I'm supposed to get paid for this detention. Can you tell me at least where the status is? Has it been approved by the customer or has it been invoiced? So don't let them age out for that 5 and 6 months. It's a lot harder for us to go back and fix it. If you use that 30-day mark in your mind as one you want to record and judge against, I'd really appreciate it. And I think you would too.
We have some questions.
Okay, one second. And we want you and your business partner to work through this together. Remind them weekly, ask them what's up on it. Keep that status fresh in their mind so we can collect this detention, because when we're delayed, we deserve to be paid. Sorry, Andrea.
Rude. Harold said, if a company driver is driving solo on a lease operator's truck, who is paid detention, company or lease driver?
I need to verify that. I don't know that situation offhand.
Okay.
I can find out. We'll post it in the notes though.
Okay. David Allen said, why doesn't detention start on a load that has a DDT time like a Tyson load? Why is there an additional 2-3 hours before it starts?
The contract rules with Tyson, the meat shippers in particular are unique in that respect. They have a DD time in there, DDT, and the DD time varies from customer to customer. With Tyson, it is the DD time +3. The Smithfield Farm Line, it is the DD time. DDT time becomes the time that detention starts. I would ask you to put an asterisk by the meat shippers in particular, like JBS and XL, because they don't, and this is another pinch point. This is one of the areas that we see problems come up. They don't like the word detention. For whatever reason, I don't know what the deal is with them. They don't like the word detention to show on their freight bill. So we have to change all of that detention to read layover and use a different coding in our invoicing system for layover. Well, layover doesn't process through the settlements automatically like a detention does. Your fleet manager has to go through and make the adjustment on anything that's for layover. So anytime you're detained on a meat load, particularly with JBS or with XL, make sure you're following up with your fleet manager so that that layover gets processed through your settlements.
Angel said, if I was late dispatch on a load, who pays detention? I was waiting for 13 hours.
I'd say that he was dispatched after the appointment time. So
Okay.
you know, when he says he's late dispatch, he gets it and it's past the appointment time, which shame on us for sending out bad information to start with. But, you know, we'll call the customer, we'll see, and we may be able to collect attention from them on that circumstance. Depends on just exactly what happened there. But Prime will do the fair and right thing, and he just needs to work through his fleet manager.
Thank you.
So if we don't have any more questions, there's one other thing I want to mention, Keith touched on it to begin with, was the idea that we have shorter timeframes to submit things. So I mentioned it's detention world, but we see it in lumpers and other things also. And we give you 48 hours to scan a trip in, and you're still in what we would call qualified for bonuses, fuel bonus, safety and service, things like that. If you scan after 48 hours after you're empty, then even if you qualify for them, you don't get them because you didn't scan in time. So, you know, I want to take a minute here to talk about the idea that you've got to scan your trips as soon as you can. Not only for those reasons, but each trip that comes in, you guys don't know this, and some of you other guys might not, but each one of those that come in, my group looks at every single page you send in on your trips, manually flips through each page, looks for certain things on each one of them. We have about 22,000 trips a week right now. It's about 100,000 pages. My group looks through each week on top of making sure you're paid correctly. So about 25% of those trips come in on cutoff day, which is a lot for one single day for any group. So let's make sure as soon as you're empty, you get a reminder on there to scan your trips into us. Please send them in. It helps you, it helps us, not only workload. I'm not trying to whine about workload, but if something's wrong, we need to get with the customer. I need to get with you because I can't read it like you thought you could. Certain things like that. You know, if you send it to me at 3:55 on cutoff day, it's really difficult to communicate and get things taken care of. So please send those in as soon as you get emptied on them.
You know, I've got one question, didn't come through YouTube, but I've got a question, Keith. How much detention do we collect a week from our customers?
Well, we collect, well, let me go back payout. Payout to the lease company operators last week was in excess of $500,000. So that's what we paid to the operators last week alone. And it's been running anywhere from $350,000 to $600,000 a week in payouts to the lease operators. Now, the company side is a totally different number on top of that. It's not tied back into what we're billing directly, but I'm going to say it's probably another $150,000, $200,000 easily on that side too. So you guys are looking at $500,000 a week being dispersed out for detention right now. And honestly, I would prefer that we not collect a dime of it and that they just load and unload you in an hour and get you down the road, because I think you guys can make more money driving the truck and hauling the freight than you can sitting around the shippers and receivers. But the only way we've got to really incentivize them to do faster is the detention process.
When we use the app to scan in our documents, I've noticed on occasion that I'll get a call back on, oh, I need this page again because it's blurry. If I go look at the original, it looks absolutely perfect. But then when it goes through the rendering process, it gets all fuzzy and blurry. And sometimes by then I've already dropped off the paperwork at my house with my wife. I've got to get her to dig it out, scan it or take a photo of it, email it to me so I can email it to my fleet manager. Is there a way you guys can pull the originals from the app once it's been submitted?
So Brian's shaking her head yes.
You can even view your own sent documents. So in your menu option, you can view your sent document history and you get 30 days in there. And if it's past that, you can call because we can get access to all of those originals. We have those too. We have the original color and all that. We can get to those if we need them.
She's powerful. You bet. Well, and I want to touch on one other thing you said. You said by then I may have already dropped this off of my wife. So that means you didn't scan it to us at e-call probably, because we would have got with you within hours after that.
I literally came home.
Okay. So just bad timing on that. I'll let this one slide. Okay.
Thank you.
Time in, time out stamp.
Yeah, the detention time in, time out stamp. The one that you guys saw at the company store is huge, and sometimes trying to find a place to actually put them on the bill so it's legible and readable is a little a pain in the butt at times, trying to find a place in there that you guys can read it. Is there a way that we can slim that stamp down a little bit to put just the necessary information?
So I'm not over the company store, but yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. So yeah, I'll get with them after this and see if we can do something.
I'd say let's let the drivers design what they want to see and submit it to us, and then we'll take it from there.
After here, sketch it up. Bring
I'd
it to
encourage
me.
you guys put together what you want us to do, and we'll take a look at it and try and do it for you.
I think we're victims there because we want it to be big to where they could see it, when they send that back and forth, kind of the issue this gentleman had.
You're right. It's got to be a certain
It was
size.
legible, going through all the digital process. So any other questions on detention?
We do have one. Catherine said, any chance of an increase in detention for company drivers? Or when was the last time it was increased?
So we can always look at that. I mean, as a management group, we'll look and see what the numbers bear, and yeah, we'll do it after this and see if we do need to make an adjustment for it.
Robert said, who pays detention if you're late to receiver due to the shipper?
If you're late to the receiver due to the shipper,
Yeah.
we're going to go back to the shipper because that's on them. So we're going to go back and collect that. We'll make it right for the driver because we're going to try and get that back from the shipper. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Jessica said, do we really need to continue using trip sheets when using the app to scan?
For now, the answer is yes. I'll help you out, Brian. Definitely looking at the option to get rid of that. There's a few tentacles to it, but yes, already looking at it.
Some people said the stamp is great. You can use a blank sheet or the back of the bills of lading. Is that acceptable?
That's fine, but just make sure you scan the back because one of the issues that we continually have, and I hate to pick on a customer, but Costco, a great customer as far as receivers are concerned. They usually get you in and out real fast. They're notorious for putting their stamp on the back of your paperwork. And then when we try and submit those paperworks to get paid, they get rejected because there's no POD on it. It's on the back and we forgot to scan it. So if you're going to put it on the back, that's all well and good. Just make sure you take the time to scan the back, please.
Yeah, it was my thing with the detention stamp. If I don't have any room on the bill, I just flip over the page and put it on the back.
That's fine, or a separate piece of paper. Just got to make sure you scan it.
Costco don't put the decal on the page. The driver does, because they just hand you keep your bills, they'll hand you a little decal and the driver puts it wherever he can. Okay, any other questions? All right, Brian, let's do the company driver pay increase. Please. All right, so Wednesday night, we had our prime stakeholders dinner every year, and Robert's always very generous to us all. Our solo company driver this year will see a 2 cent per mile increase. And on the team side, our trainers will see a 2 cent per mile increase. And then our AC company teams, each driver will receive a 1 cent a mile pay increase. So great increase there for our company drivers. Another reminder, especially on the team side, we have the team mileage bonus. It's huge, 3,000 miles to 4,000 miles, 25 cents a mile extra, and 30,000 and up is 30 cents a mile extra. It's huge. I mean, we're seeing those company trainers and those permanent teams, $1,600 to $2,000, $2,200 a week. So real nice on those bonuses there. And then the last thing we have, we heard some noise from our driver advisory board and our drivers out there about our company vacation policy, and it was $700 a week. Well, we made a big jump there to $900 a week. So, Robert was very generous there, moving that vacation to $900 a week. Any questions or comments? Anybody want to talk about company pay or anything else right now?
So I already have some vacation time lined up. Will that be retroactive or?
No, it will only be for accrued today forward.
All right.
Okay. So, I wanted to talk this morning, we've kind of had a couple instances here lately of some cargo claims. Cargo claims is an ugly word in the trucking business. So, Birmingham, Alabama, you probably don't even want to park down there. Schedule your trip to where you get there just in time to unload down there. We had a couple of thefts, and unfortunately, our drivers didn't have their abloy locks on the back of their trailers. So, just a great reminder here. Does anybody know what Prime's trailer lock policy is? Always 24/7, 365, empty or loaded. So that's our policy. We need to do that. We haul the nation's food supply, and it's a huge responsibility for all of us to protect that. Something could happen to that trailer while it's empty, and something can happen to it while it's loaded. So we keep that locked 24/7, 365. What do you think another area is where we have cargo claims in the refrigerated industry? Anybody want to guess? Temperatures, exactly. And most of our issues here lately are because we're not reading the bills. The bills is the legal document. The temperature on the bills is going to be what we run it at, unless we make some sort of exception, but that'll be through a phone call. But, we had an incident this week where the shipper tendered us the load at 34, and then when they loaded it and the bills said -10. Unfortunately, our operator didn't read his bills and set the reefer back. They had it running at -10, set perfectly. He just looked at his Qualcomm and set it at 34. And now obviously that load's we're gonna pay quite a bit of cargo claims on that. So please, please, please read your bills. That's the main thing. Any issues between your bills and the Qualcomm, call your business partner, call your lifeline, call your fleet manager ASAP and get clearance on that load and what temperature we want it ran at. And you might even see some bills that don't have a temperature on them. And this could be really serious. Before you leave there, if you can't find a temperature on those bills, you question whoever that is in shipping and get them to sign off on the temperature with their signature or their initials and call us and let us know what that temperature is, okay? Any questions on cargo claims? Great, let's not have any, all right? Thanks for all you do.
Thank you, Stan, and thank you, Keith, and thank you, Shaun. I knew this was going to be a good meeting. That's just a lot of information. And really, that's the true reason we have these meetings, to share information, share ideas. And I think it was Stan that said it, and we say it a lot around here, don't be a victim. Everything that we talked about today, make it your goal not to be a victim. I was held up at that receiver. I'm going to get my detention. I don't care if I have to call in every week for 10 months. I'm going to get my detention. When I take a load, I'm going to make sure I have the right temperature on it. You're hauling that load. It's out of our hands now. You've got to make sure that temperature is right. And those abloy locks, I'll tell you one thing real quick that Bill's not here today, our director of security. I think he's been here 10 or 12 years. He's seen one time that thieves have been able to get through an abloy lock. Every time other than that, it's not an abloy lock. It's a master lock. It's no lock at all. You put that abloy lock on there, I can just about guarantee thieves are not getting into your trailers. Just get in the habit. Every load, put it on there. When you're empty, put it on there. That messes up the thieves. They don't know what to do. So a lot of good information today. I want to thank all our speakers for being here. Before I bring up our final speaker, for our new folks, you'll see we do this at every event we have. We think this is very important. It's become a prime tradition. So I'm going to ask all our veterans to stand and be recognized, please. I do want to thank you for being here. And don't forget, these meetings are live. All these questions that came in that Andrea had were from people out on the road watching the meeting. So this information is available to you anytime you're out there. So just back from Springdale, Arkansas, I think we have Steve Wutke, our Vice President of Sales and Marketing. He'll kind of close us out and give us some of his thoughts. Hi, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Really nice to see so many people here today, and I'd like to welcome you all, you new folks joining our company. You thought it was going to be easy, didn't you? You listen to all this stuff that we got to do. There's a lot of responsibility. There's not anything greater in this responsibility side than safety, though. And it's certainly our highest calling, and we should never forget it. And you need to recognize that you're getting into a profession that can be very, very dangerous. And you got to have your game face on just every time you get behind the wheel, be ready to go. Because there'll be some crazy four-wheeler out there doing stupid stuff. And I hope it won't be me. But, you just got to always protect yourself. So we covered a lot of things here today. All we're really trying to tell you is you're entitled to the money that you deserve. And we need to make sure that we're doing everything we can to bill it properly and collect it and get it to you. we have some deals with our customers that we go ahead and pay it because we know we're going to get paid. So, you know, we're kind of floating that to make sure that you get it. I was down at a customer down in Arkansas yesterday, and that was one of our topics, is how quickly they go ahead and run that detention through. So we know it's a problem. We also know that if you get detained at a shipper and you don't see that detention paid to you in a timely fashion, you probably don't want to go back there. And we certainly don't blame you. I think that is the way we create tension. So as has already been mentioned, don't sit around and be a victim. Talk to your fleet manager. If you can't get it done, just go up the food chain and we'll figure out how to get it done for you. You know, business is really good right now. I think Steve mentioned it's a great time to be in trucking. One thing that I think sometimes people forget is the industry is bigger than us. We're trying to be a leader on all of these different fronts, whether it's rate structure, whether it's accessorials or whatever. But we still have to compete with those that don't understand the value of collecting some of those items. So while we know what we need to do, we got to kind of get the rest of our competitors and competition dialed into those same things. So it's not like we're out on an island. We're not afraid to be a leader. I can tell you that. We recognize that we got to help everybody along the way. So, you know, we talked a little bit about growth and the importance of growth. Why are we able to hold on and grow with some of our existing customers? Because we have flex, because we have size, because we can do things others don't, because we got 1,150 teams that can do things others can't do. So our business model is really unique. I'm proud to have been here, like, I think I'm getting close to 39 or 40 years, but we have really worked hard at trying to create a business model that is fair to you all, and you can make a good living. And the thing that I want to share now in closing is this. Robert Lowe isn't here. He's the owner of our company. He's on the injured reserve list right now. Had a shoulder problem and is kind of struggling with the pain. I told him that Tito's or tequila with that medication really helps, but it's not deadening the pain yet. So he's not here, but if he was here, he would say that we owe you all the most important thing, a good living and respect. And if you don't get either of those, then, you know, we recognize we have failed. So we need you to talk to us. Don't be afraid to share information with us. We're so far from perfect, it's ridiculous. But with you all kind of helping us and sharing information, we can attack those areas and get better. And that's our goal. We just want to get better every day. Do your best, do what's right, treat others the way you want to be treated. That's kind of the way we roll. Appreciate you all very much. Matt, 135,000. Can I borrow a little money from you? Yeah, we have some really neat programs, and certainly that's one of them. So we try to treat all of our associates and drivers well. Nice seeing you today. I want you to get out and have a good day. And for those of you on the road that couldn't be here, we thank you very much for what you do every day. In all the length of my tenure here, I have yet to deliver a load on time, but you all do it every day. And we get recognized and rewarded for what you do. It allows us to keep rate structure higher. It allows us to do things that others don't get to do when it comes to volume and commitment. So thank you all very much. Be safe. If anybody has a question, I'd try one real quick, but if not, here's my phone number, 417.
No, we're on live. You can't give up
Oh,
your
I can't do that? Oh, okay.
Trust me, I've done it. It's bad.
Okay,
bad.
sorry about that.
But we do have a question if you want to take one. Or it's just a comment. Robert said, please say something about fueling trailers before dropping them. I've had a lot of customers complain about that to me.
About?
Fueling up trailers.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the things that we try to do with our customer base is I think we're supposed to drop them 3/4 full. That's one of the requirements with some of our protein people. What that does is put us in position to get that next trailer loaded and move us out of there. So it should go in with 3/4. It should come out with 3/4. So that's kind of one of the deals that we have with the protein people. Look, they're really good shippers. They pay great rates. And like us, they're not perfect. We've worked really hard on the detention stuff with everybody, but certainly we've focused on the protein folks. So that's a big part of what we're trying to do. Thank you all very much. Wish you the best. If I can ever help you, call me. Okay? Thank you. Thanks for that.
Robert almost did it last week and I had to tell him no.